So it is a new day. It's been a while since I showed you guys what is going on in all the studio tanks, and there is a lot going on. We've got new setups, we've got problems in some of the old setups. Let me run you through them all. Should be entertaining, should give you some helpful hints as well of what to do with your own tanks. Yes, right here is the most recent tank that I've set up. This is for my rainbow fish. Look at that Bosemani rainbow fish in the middle there. The other ones aren't so coloured up because it's now the afternoon. They're mainly coloured up in the morning, but look at that. I'm really liking what we've done here. So I've just opened up the space so much more, sort of like an island composition, but almost taking up that side for like a triangular composition. And the idea behind this tank was to go for something sort of rough and natural. I don't know, at the moment it looks kind of sterile because obviously it's new, but in no time at all these plants are going to grow in everywhere, especially that dwarf sage in the foreground, and that is just going to look so jungly. That's the look I want to go for. Colour popping everywhere with the different red colours we've got as well, plus the floating plants, plus the fish. It's going to look nuts. I'm also going to let these floating plants almost take over. I think that will look really cool as well. There's quite a lot of light coming down at the moment. Let me show you how I'm actually seeing it. Turn it up a notch. Yeah, that's more like how I'm actually seeing it, because obviously this white sand here is bouncing off the light and making it like doubly as bright. Might get some algae issues, might not though. I'm not sure yet. We've got an established filter and I reused substrate from the previous setup, so we might have enough sort of bacteria in there to keep everything good, but we'll see, we'll see. Oh, and I must say this whole corner at the moment is looking fantastic. Every single tank actually, and to be honest, even this one up here. So this is the Neon Tetra jungle. Really is an amazing little jungle. Now look at the crypts. We've got all the different plants down the foreground here, carpeting everywhere. That is so good, luscious and beautiful. There's no algae either anywhere in the whole tank. There's fish popping. Oh, I love you guys. Oh, I love you. Oh, no. So over here is the bowl aquarium that we set up a few weeks back. It is doing fantastic. Now, because the light is so high above, it's kind of more like an ambient lighting coming off of it. I mean, we have got some from this tank as well with the better fish. Hello, more on you in a minute. But yeah, there's no algae at all, and the shrimp are still doing great. Now, unlike before, which I just left the tank, didn't I? The pearlweed grew crazy. Never, ever again am I putting pearlweed in a small tank. I'm definitely putting it in big tanks because it works really well. But in a small tank, that's not happening. So this tank now, I can see all the shrimp. I can see when there's new babies and things like that, and I'm feeding it regularly, which is going to be really good. So hopefully we get a thriving colony in here. The frog bit at the top is already starting to take over, so I'm going to have to take out some of that soon. Otherwise the plants underneath will definitely suffer from lack of light. You can already see there the sort of Anubias and Java fern in the middle is quite shaded, so I'll probably remove some in a second. But I mean, those plants don't need a lot of light anyway. The main green ones you can see down the bottom here, they're all going to need a fair bit of light to grow, like the Liliopsis brasiliensis and the Hydrocot Japan. They'd go everywhere eventually. It looks so good. So there's a couple examples there of things looking perfect, but that isn't always the case. I don't want you guys sat there thinking, oh, his tanks always look perfect, it's so easy for him. Let's have some examples of when stuff isn't going perfectly. Now, behind me in the Betterfish tank down there, that is an example of that, but I know why it's not working. There's algae in it, there's string algae. Normally, that's highlighting. Here we go. Look, hopefully you guys are picking up the algae, are you? Yeah, you should be able to see that. So it's quite sort of misty, and that is all the hair algae. So I can combat this in a few ways. First of all, I want to do a water change on it. This is an ecosystem tank with no filter for my better fish. Here he comes. Don't worry, his fins aren't as scraggly as they look. There's loads of translucent parts of each fin, so it looks like on camera specifically. When I look at it now, I can see it all joins. There's a few tiny scraggly bits, just that bit at the bottom. Those top ones are all actually filled in. But he's flaring at me because he thinks, oh, sorry. But yeah, the way to get rid of this hair algae, this light we can actually raise higher. If you can't raise your light higher, you can use some black electrical tape over some of the LEDs. So if you want to reduce it by 50%, you just do one every other. You just do a sort of bit of black tape, and that should reduce it by 50. 75%, you know, same sort of thing. Do it less. But another thing would be a good water change, I think, would be useful. The tank's been set up for quite a while now. It isn't necessary. Raising the light would probably get rid of a lot of this in time, but if you want it to go quickly, you can just sort of swish it around a bit and do a water change, and that should help. Also, what I could do is increase the amount of floating plants, and that will also reduce the amount of lighting. Now, small ecosystems on this scale can be quite tricky for anyone trying to do it, so you know, if this has happened to you before, don't panic too much. I mean, eventually there'll be enough plant growth that will actually outdo or outcompete the algae. At the moment, there's probably just not quite enough. If you remember, not long ago, I did a big trim back on this, and I took away all of the stem plants. Well, I probably took out too many in one go, because it meant that there wasn't a load of fresh new plants pulling sort of nutrients from the water column. They're just trying to repair from the trauma of me trimming them all. But you know what, it's okay. It still looks really, really good, doesn't it? I love it. I do actually love this tank. I look at it every day. Obviously I do, because when I walk in, look, it's right there. What a cool little sort of central tank thing. Now, right next to the better tank, we have got the tiger barb tank right here. Now, truth be told, shortly after I set this up, I wasn't really feeling it, but I hacked back all the plants big time and have let them grow back, and since then I'm actually really, really liking it. Again, this one is not without its problems though. There is a little bit of green spot algae on the glass, which you probably can't make out. That's a good point to note, actually. So a lot of the time in YouTube videos, due to like focal lengths and things like that, if there's subject matter inside the tank, the camera or the phone, whatever it is, will focus on that and not show you any sort of green dust algae. That's, well, it will do if it's caked in it, but if you've got green spot algae, a little bit like that, a little bit of sort of thread algae, small amounts, you're not going to pick it up on camera ever. So that's why quite often when you're watching these videos, mine, other people's, you'll be like, oh, they've never got any algae. Trust me, all of them have got it. Like literally every, well, not the brand new one obviously, but give it a week, it'll be covered in diatoms, which will be lovely. So I'm currently breaking down the tank you can see behind me. It's been running for a very long time. It was my low tech budget aquascape thingy. But what I'm going to do now is start a new series which is going to be all about like ecosystem tanks, and I'm going to do it as like episodes so we can like update them, not upgrade them. Well, they will be upgraded because they'll get better. So far I've taken the wood out, I've got the rocks out, I've got some of the old plants out, and all that's left in the tank at the moment is all the fish. So we've got loads of these awesome albino cherry barbs, which, you know, I'm definitely 100% keeping. I don't think I'm going to do them for the whole ecosystem series, because they're quite big actually for the sort of style I want to go for. We've got the epistogramma babies in there. Well, they're not so much babies anymore, and there's a load of cories as well. I can't really film all of them because it's so dirty, but all these fish are going to go across into the low-tech ecosystem tank, which because it's so full of plants now, you can't see anything like as many fish as we could before. I mean, we probably would have lost some of them. That's just how it works when you have a tank full of fish. Eventually, like the very weaker ones, you sort of lose some of them, and all the strong ones remain, which is what we're seeing at the moment. Oh look, beauty. I absolutely love these little nano rainbows as well. Look at that. Look how cool they are. And this female guppy is still constantly popping out babies all the time. When you just stay still, look, you can sort of see them swimming about in the open. There's quite a few actually in there still, and they're actually getting a little bit bigger, so hopefully they won't all get gobbled up. So yeah, I can get all those fish into that tank, and I can clean the whole thing up. I've done it so many times now, I can actually clean a tank and empty it pretty quickly. Do it within an hour. All the fish are caught up, ready to go in. I've topped up the water, which is awesome. It's like perfect level now. See that? About an inch below the top. That's where I keep all of my levels so the fish don't jump out. Now, I was just going to remove some of the duckweed as well, but the annoying thing is, when I go to like hook stuff out in here, you can't sort of, well now it's doing it because I've removed some, but like there, I can't get right in and scoop it out. So I found another good way is just to get your hand in there, and it actually comes out in like clumps. Do you know what I mean? Look, see that? And yeah, that way you can reduce the amount that's in there. I'm actually liking the duckweed more and more. I think it's one of the reasons that this tank is doing so good. It's just stopping any kind of algae. I mean, I've got 2 lights blasting down it for 12 hours of the day, and there's still no algae. So yeah, the duckweed does grow back fast, but in my opinion, it's probably a good thing because it's pulling nutrients out of the water, isn't it? And a few of you might be thinking, well, why would you not want nutrients in the water column? Why are you using duckweed to pull nutrients out? Well, this is an ecosystem tank, so it's a fine balance. I don't do water changes on it. So the way you remove waste is by trimming plants and removing floating plants. They're using nutrients to grow, the poop from the fish. And you're taking them out and you're topping up with fresh water. Just as it evaporates down, you're just topping it up. So you're getting the minerals sort of back in that way. But you don't seem to sort of top out on the minerals because they're growing the plants, so the plants are getting trimmed and exported. Plus there's a little internal filter that just pushes water around, it's got a little sponge in it, that removes waste as well. So that is why I'm a massive advocate for like floating plants. I just think they look great, they make the whole thing look so natural as well, don't they? Anyway, it's now time to add these fish into their new environment. They should absolutely love it in here. And away you go, guys. All the water temperatures are matching, so don't worry about that, everyone. Whee! Oh, there's one left. There you go, go on. There you go. Well, as expected, the albino cherry barbs stand out straight away in the whole tank. Look at that. Just as much as the koi guppy at the top there. But that was to be expected. I mean, these guys are basic like goldfish, aren't they? Like tiny fish, goldfish. How ideal is that when you think about it? People love goldfish, but goldfish actually get huge, probably way too big for most of the aquariums that they're put in. But these guys stay small. A really good alternative, really. Oh, there's one of the smudge spot cories, just doing its thing, just working out the area, seeing where it can live. There was quite a few apistos. Oh, there's one. There's one of the apistos. Going back there. They all sort of hid straight away, which is completely understandable. There's so many places for them to hide in here as well. I would not be surprised if there was some breeding action that went on and a load of the babies survived in this one, just because of how many places you can hide. Right in the center of that island there, and then right in the center of that island there. So there's this real good opportunity for even more babies. That's how the first ones were bred. Oh, there's a male coming around the corner. Oh, he's gone again. Right, on top of all of that, something quite cool has happened as well in the Amazon River aquarium that we've got here. They're all coming through. There are babies in this tank. Right, the tank's a little bit misty. I don't know if that's coming out on the camera, but if you look down here, where these two guys are, oh, you've spotted me straight away. Look at that, look at the back. There's absolutely tons of fry just swimming around in that area. They've made like a sort of nest out of some of the Java fern as well, which is working really well. I'm very, very proud of you. The likelihood of them surviving in here I don't think is very high, but let's face it, they've got to this stage, free swimming, with this amount of fish all swimming around in here. And bear in mind, like the Colombian tetras are pretty aggressive fish as well, like, you know, they're fast. And we've got rams down in that corner as well, where a lot of those babies are. And we've still got a massive cluster of them in that back area. So I'm really, really pleased with that. Fingers crossed. I mean, with the amount of sort of plants we've got in here, I'd say there's like a good chance that we can get some to survive, because they could all swim right into that back section and the other fish wouldn't go in there. They just don't, they just stay in the open. So they got a chance to grow up, and hopefully we can get some more electric blue acaras. Some people will be wanting me to take them out. I know you will, but I don't do that. I don't want to interfere. I'm not a fish breeder. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, well then next time. And eventually, I mean, by probability alone, you're going to get a couple survive. And to be honest, that's all you really want. I don't want to keep getting loads and loads, because what on earth am I going to do with them all? And you may also notice as well, we're currently combating some sort of staghorn algae and also some BBA, or possibly just a different type of staghorn. I'm not entirely sure, but you can see it's starting to go white now. That means we're fighting off. Been using a glutaraldehyde just a few days, and it's just melting it all back away really, really simply. Like, I found that that's always been enough. That's the only two that I've ever had creep up in this sort of scale before, where, let's have a look. Like, there's more there, but mainly it's in like sort of high flowy areas. But come on, guys, give me a chance. But yeah, the glutaraldehyde, it really does make a difference. See how it's gotten sort of slightly pinky as well, pinky and white? It's just going to melt it off, and then it'll be gone for a long time. It might come back again at some stage, but if it does, it won't be for a while, because I've had that happen before, treated it, and yeah, you're good. And of course, not a sponsor video, but my weapon of choice is the API CO2 booster. Works really well. And I'm now halfway through the build. You can see behind me, it's going to be like a self-sustaining sort of ecosystem style tank. You guys know I've done lots of these before now, but I'm trying to do like the ultimate one. This will probably be one of the bigger ones I've done. Zero filter, nothing at all. It's just gonna be plants. So I'm going to town on the plants as well. You have to do that in that kind of setup. As many of you know, the more plants, the better. They're gonna filter the whole water. Plus, they just look awesome, don't they? At the moment, we've just got greens in, but I'm gonna go for color as well. I'm gonna get some red in there and that kind of thing. It should all merge and look like a sort of wild, colorful jungle. That's the plan. And I've got really simple, the hardscape as well. Look, we've got 2 rocks in there, just 2 rocks. I mean, that whole idea of this is to sort of show that, you know, something you guys could potentially do as well. And like, I know hardscape can be a lot of money. So if you're able to do something with just 2 really nice rocks, then that's a massive benefit, and that can potentially pull even more people into the hobby as well. And usually when I do a setup, I bring the substrate system all the way to the foreground and cover up anything I've used underneath to sort of bulk it up. But in this one, I've done it like that, just so we can sort of see what's going on. It'd be quite cool seeing the root systems develop and that kind of thing. Also tells you how well your sort of substrate system's doing and if there's any weirdness going on. So yeah, it's just a little bit different. Should be quite a cool tank. That's about halfway back already, or maybe a third. We've still got quite a lot of plant at the back and go right up high. Really good mix of colour. It should look so good. Basically, we have got lots more stuff coming up, so if you aren't subscribed, you're going to need to click that little button and then the bell next to it as well, so you're notified every time I make a video. That's if you want to. If you don't want to, then don't do that, of course. But I will hopefully see you on the next one.